The problem is that in this scenario, to use your metaphor, the US has the bigger gun. And so China ends up having more to lose from this trade war, doesn't it? You know, it can't sustain the loss of 15% of its export market, i.e. what you export to the US.
Not at all. China is fully prepared to fight to the very end because the world is big enough that the United States is not the totality of the market in the world. So if the United States wants to go in that direction of completely shutting itself out of the China market, be my guest.
Yeah, and China will lose the US market, which, as I've said, is 15%.
We don't care. We don't care. China has been here for 5,000 years. Most of the time, there was no United States, and we survived. And if the United States wants to bully China, we will deal with the situation without the United States. And we expect to survive for another 5,000 years.
The US-China trade war has kicked off. Just look at these containers piling up on the docks. These are all waiting to be exported. This footage was taken on April 11th by a Douyin user in Zhejiang at a local port. It's not just Zhejiang. In recent days, major export hubs along China's coast, including Guangdong, Shanghai, and even Hong Kong, have seen freight operations come to a near standstill. Ports in these areas are now filled with containers waiting to be shipped. The 145% tariff imposed by the United States on Chinese goods has officially taken effect, triggering severe disruption across China's export supply chain. According to Chinese financial outlet Caixin, at Shanghai's Yangshan and Waigaoqiao ports, many shipments bound for the U.S. were rushed onto vessels in a race to depart before the tariffs were enforced. But after the U.S. announced a 125% tariff, Shanghai's once busy export activity came to a sudden stop within days. By April 10th, almost no cargo ships bound for the U.S. could be seen. Reports say many cargo ships and freight flights between China and the U.S. have been canceled.
Want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Hey. Why this beat so crazy?
We will make America proud again. When you try to kill our we will make America wealthy again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
Oh, take a hit of this right here. I ain't hit this in a long time. Well, them China got it going on. Them allergies and pollens is in the air. Billy Ray Jenkins. A lot of y'all done paid $1,000. A lot of y'all done paid $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 for them tennis shoes and them purses and that sweater. Only wore it once. Thousands of dollars. Something to find out, China didn't expose. They didn't got mad. Them people down there got mad. Yeah. Y'all not getting that from Italy and over here and over here. No, it's coming from us. All them cheap products that y'all paying thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for. It's going on, man. We got a lot of breaking news happening with this trade war, y'all. And we rooting for America. America first. Prayers for Trump and the Trump administration. I want to send my prayers and love to all you guys that are tuned in. We have a lot of love from around the globe, different countries, states, zip codes, different skin colors. We don't give a damn what your skin color is, what you look like, what your background is. We don't care. We got love for you on this channel. You know, and if you're new here, join the family. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. I want to send a huge shout out to Jennifer for sending me this video that has blown up all over the internet with over millions of hits in the last couple of hours. But it is going down right now. U.S. cancels orders, large-scale China shipping halts, containers pile up at the Chinese ports. Wow, it's a lot going on with this, man. And seeing what they're saying about the factories, and oh boy, it's whew, man. Everybody on what I seen a lot of people posting right on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. About I told y'all I wasn't buying the real pairs that y'all be wearing. I was buying the duplicates and the reps, and you know the duplicate version looks just like the so-called authentic version. So the so-called fake look like the real. Yeah. And they was wondering, why does the even some of the fake stuff look better than the real stuff. Why does the fake look better than the real? Come to find out, the factories are right next to each other, right across the street. It took everybody jobs. Whoa! Yeah, it's going down, family. I ain't lying to you. I've been, and you know, one of the plugs, he been telling me, man, Rick, it's going on down here. Y'all has been lied to. I said, for real? He says, yes, man, y'all have been lied to for years. And it's easy to manipulate the people. I said, man, it's easy to fool the people. The people can read this and it can be a whole lie and they'll still go with it and believe it. I said, man, yeah, it's happening. But let's get into the comment section. I want to read what they're saying in the comment. We'll get into this video. But again, I want to send a huge shout out to Jennifer, who's also a channel member. Thank you to all the channel members, all the people that show so much love and support on the channel. We have been rocking and rolling, man. We've been covering all the breaking updates, everything that is happening with the Trump administration and what's going on with all this. And we're going to continue to break amazing updates and have amazing videos. I know y'all come on here to get a good laugh as well. You know, we keep it real though, man. Because no one cared about us 30 years ago when this happened to us. I remember my parents crying quietly one night. I came of the room to learn my father lost his factory job back in the 80s. The factory went to China. It was the first time I saw my father cry. Wow, that got over thousands of likes. Wow. Father lost his job and they sent the factory job to China. Ah! If it's about the dignity of the country, then it's about the dignity of the country to stand against your lies, theft, and international crimes. We lost our companies to Japan long before China, but by adding China to the WTO without protecting intellectual property is why they're such horrible partners. I'm like, I couldn't even read that. What the hell are they saying? No more cheap Chinese products. I am glad. Yeah. You can you can't blame Trump. Not Trump. Do not blame Trump. Fun fact, I used to scrape machines when it went to China. What goes around comes around. 25 years exact. Welcome to America. Yeah, buddy. Stealing intellectual property and selling cheap knockoffs, and now they are crying. I have no sympathy for any of them. I don't feel bad whatsoever. I remember our own towns losing businesses and closing factories. Screw them. Hell yeah, America first. Remember, every one of these factories used to be in the U.S. U.S. has been suffering for decades. This is only a taste. Yeah, man. I remember my parents working manufacturing AC components for cars. They destroyed American manufacturing. Now we have a president that asking for fairness. These tariffs aren't sudden. It's been a long time coming. Hell yeah, America first. Americans are inventors, producers, builders, and we need more made in America products. So y'all get where the comment section is going with this. You know, they're saying they can keep their cheap products. Now China knows how the American people feel. Oh boy. I'm from Michigan, USA. Now China knows how we felt the last 33 years. Nobody cared what happened to our families. Yeah. For 60 years, other countries never cared about America at all. Yeah, buddy. Well, let's get into this video, man. Ah, man, I can barely read. It says, Rick, sir, are you okay? I think it's that thing I hit. I don't know. Shit expired. This shit might be expired. Let me find out. I ain't hit it in a long time. You know, usually when these pollen, these tree sperm all in the air. Your boy can't breathe. You know, I had asthma when I was a little kid. I grew out of it a long time ago. But every now and then it comes back and messes with my lungs a little bit with this pollen, man. This pollen make you sick. All this tree sperm in the air. Let me know if y'all got that tree sperm sickness as well too, man. I tell you, gosh, late.
The US-China trade war has kicked off. Just look at these containers piling up on the docks. These are all waiting to be exported. This footage was taken on April 11th by a Douyin user in Zhejiang at a local port. It's not just Zhejiang. In recent days, major export hubs along China's coast, including Guangdong, Shanghai, and even Hong Kong, have seen freight operations come to a near standstill. Ports in these areas are now filled with containers waiting to be shipped. The 145% tariff imposed by the United States on Chinese goods has officially taken effect, triggering severe disruption across China's export supply chain. According to Chinese financial outlet Caixin, at Shanghai's Yangshan and Waigaoqiao ports, many shipments bound for the U.S. were rushed onto vessels in a race to depart before the tariffs were enforced. But after the U.S. announced a 125% tariff, Shanghai's once busy export activity came to a sudden stop within days. By April 10th, almost no cargo ships bound for the U.S. could be seen. Reports say many cargo ships and freight flights between China and the U.S. have been canceled. Containers that missed the shipping deadline are now stuck at dockside storage yards, and many exporters are filing customs return paperwork. It is estimated that about half the shipping capacity on U.S.-China routes will be canceled in the near future. According to Radio Free Asia, Mr. Qian, an exporter from Guangdong, currently on a business trip in Shanghai, said in an April 11th interview that Yantian Port in Guangdong is seeing the same situation as Shanghai. Containers are stacked high, and very few cargo ships are leaving. A Costco shipping worker stationed at Yangshan Port said many sailings on U.S.-China routes have already been canceled. Ships that are not fully loaded, where charters would normally pay for unused capacity, are no longer sailing. 3 vessels are being combined into 2, and eventually into 1, even if it ends up without cargo. A manager at a large freight forwarding company added that most exporters shipping to the U.S. have now suspended their operations and are waiting to see how the situation unfolds.
Fellow
freight forwarders, we can't survive anymore. They've raised the tariffs by another 50%. The U.S.-Canada route is totally crashing. Clients are pulling their shipments by the truckload. How am I supposed to live? The trade war's bullets are hitting me hard. Some people might ask, why is Canada even involved in these U.S. tariffs? Why is the U.S.-Canada route treated as one line? After the goods reach the U.S., they go by bonded truck to Canada, or once they get to Canada, they go by bonded truck to the U.S., or they transfer by train. They used to be like inseparable sisters, but now they've broken up. He raises tariffs on him, and he raises tariffs on him. Now I have nothing to eat. Of course, it's not just me. I bet some of you watching my video won't have food either. These times are tough. Hang in there, friends. Better days will come. Once we get through this, I'll be one of the survivors of the 2025 U.S.-China trade war. With 145% tariffs, and I still managed to steal 20 containers. Who says only those standing in the light are heroes? Those who survive will witness history. Ming Pao reports that individuals working in the sea freight consolidation business in both China and the U.S. say that, after consulting within their industry, they found that as of April 10th, the booking volume for container ships departing from various ports in China to the U.S. had dropped by more than half. They predict that due to the unpredictable nature of the tariff war, some goods may be rejected by buyers and returned after reaching the U.S. The air freight market is also facing significant damage. A freight forwarder from South China told Caixin that next week's air shipments to the U.S. are also expected to drop by 90%, with major airlines cutting back on cargo flights. Due to the sudden high tariffs, exporters and their clients must renegotiate how to share costs, which has led to many goods being forced to stop shipping. High tariffs have not only caused port congestion, but have also placed foreign trade factories in an unprecedented crisis. According to Caixin and other media, since the U.S. tariffs took effect, export factories in Zhejiang and Guangdong, 2 major freight trade provinces, have almost stopped production, and warehouses are filled with goods that were originally meant to be exported.
The business owners in Shaoxing are breaking down. These 145% tariffs. Did Trump even use a calculator to come up with that? You buy goods worth $100, but first you have to pay $145 in tariffs to US Customs. Mr. Wang from the textile factory had $200,000 in costs for a shipment of polyester fabric that used to make a profit of $50,000 selling to the US. But now with the new tariffs, he's losing $40,000. Mr. Wang was crying in front of his warehouse, and now no one even wants the cloth, not even for dish rags. Many other owners have also had their cash flow cut off and orders are being cancelled. What should we do now?
Similar reports are coming in
America's
from across
been crying
China.
too.
A user from Jiangsu commented, "My family does foreign trade, and most of our orders are from
American
the US.
family's been crying for a long
Yesterday,
time.
we got a call from the client asking us to pause." Another user from Guangdong commented, "Clients exporting to the US have almost all canceled their orders, and they're not even keeping the deposits." An employee from a foreign trade factory in Zhejiang commented and said, "Our company's exports are mainly to the US. Now the clients urgently asked us to stop. As for the goods still on the sea, if they're cleared by May 27, we'll still face a 54% tariff. We can't verify the accuracy of this grace period, but it shows how desperate these struggles foreign trade businesses are for any possible relief." A business owner running an automotive parts processing factory in Guangdong expresses helplessness in a video.
这关税一涨，厂子直接变养老。
Once the tariffs went up, the factory turned into a retirement home. This time last year, the machines were deafening. Now, not even rats come around. 2 million yuan worth of goods are stacked up like mountains, and no one wants them, not even for free. The workers sit outside in the sun all day, and I'm paying their basic wages out of my own pocket. The bank is hounding me every day over the loan. If this keeps up for another 3 months, these machines will be worth nothing but scrap. The Americans raised tariffs without a second thought, but it's killing those of us in real industry. Does anyone have a way to clear out this inventory? I'll take scrap prices if I have to. A clothing factory owner is clearing out inventory due to excess stock.
这白裤子谁要是不嫌弃的，你们都拿走穿吧。
Does anyone want these white pants? If you don't mind, you can just take them. It's such a shame to throw away tens of thousands of them. The US is hitting us with heavy tariffs, and these goods are affected. Physical stores are closing down. All the big brands are shipping their genuine products with labels. There's only 3 days left, so I'm clearing everything out at a discount. If you've never bought before, now's the time to try a few.
The US-China trade war has dealt a devastating blow to industries that depend on exports to the United States, especially in sectors such as textiles, apparel, electronics, and automotive products. Factories that previously manufactured goods for American brands have been hit hardest, with widespread order cancellations and
we
even
do have debunkers and we do have fact checkers in the chat. Oh, they are here. So make sure y'all straighten this out, just in case there's something a little iffy about this. Y'all make sure. I need my debunkers and fact checkers to stay firm.
finished products left without buyers. Many factories have been forced to halt production or attempt to reduce inventory through domestic sales, but weak consumer demand at home has limited the impact, resulting in heavy losses. Today is April 10th. U.S. tariffs have surged to a staggering 145%. Many friends running OEM factories for American brands told me all their U.S. orders were canceled. Even completed goods are being rejected, and shipments that already reached the port are being pulled back. Some shameless clients are even demanding their deposits back. When disaster hits, it's always the factories left holding the bag. No client is willing to shoulder the burden of these tariffs, and none of them care whether the factory has already paid for the materials. Clients may lose a small deposit, but the losses for factories go far beyond that. In Shantou, Guangdong, a toy and gift manufacturer said they have received no orders from the United States this year. In Shenzhen, David Feng, an Amazon seller, said he had no choice but to raise product prices by 30%, cut back on advertising, and shift resources to markets outside the U.S. Wang Xing, president of the Shenzhen Cross-Border E-Commerce Association, noted that the high tariffs have completely changed the cost structure. Longer customs clearance times and soaring logistics costs have made it extremely difficult for Chinese sellers to operate in the U.S. market. She warned that a wave of closures among small and medium-sized businesses could lead to a sharp increase in domestic unemployment. Under the weight of the trade war, public sentiment in China has become increasingly divided. On the one hand, some people, influenced by CCP propaganda, are showing strong patriotic feelings. The owner of a down comforter factory on Hui shared in a video. We've stopped production. Not long ago, fans were asking if the US tariff hike affects us. As you know, most of our business is with the US, making up 90% of our operations. As of yesterday, the US tariffs went up to 145%, and the direct impact on us is that all of our export business to the US has been halted, including OEM clients who've also told us to stop production. All of our goods at the ports have to be pulled back, and the losses are incalculable. Perhaps influenced by the Chinese government's propaganda, he expresses firm support for China's confrontation with the US, despite being a victim of the trade war. He said, "Is life hard? It's incredibly hard. But do we need to fight this battle? Absolutely. I still hear people say we don't need a rising power, just dignity for the common people. That's pure nonsense. Only when the country rises can the people truly have dignity. Without the backing of the nation, how could small businesses like ours stand tall and make money overseas? For big exporters, we're probably the first ones to fall in this war, but it's not sacrifice that's frightening. It's surrender. To put it bluntly, I'll go all in, even if it means losing everything." The video went viral on social media, sparking heated discussions among social media users outside of China. Having made money off Americans for so long, growing rich without a shred of gratitude, and then turning around to support the government that exploits them, it's unbelievable that these ungrateful people haven't gone bankrupt yet.
Oh boy.
Just stop selling goods to them, and that's the way to go all the way. Some people think that this is just using patriotism to sell products and become an influencer. On the one hand, pessimistic sentiments are also spreading. Mr. Hong, a user from Jiangsu, told Radio Free Asia, "The pessimism is really bad. Even elderly people in their 80s and young people are feeling it." Mr. Zhang from Qingdao, Shandong, said, "All industries are showing signs of decline. Guangdong and Zhejiang are the hardest hit by the tariff war, and both technology and the economy are stagnating. He worries that if developed countries stop buying Chinese products,
The background speaker ain't that bad. I ain't lying to you. Yeah, they did good getting these videos, and this background speaker is not that bad, y'all. All right, China. Oh, China, China, China. What do y'all think about the 400% tariffs that some Republicans are talking about? I know Kevin Leary brought it up once again. A 400% tariff on China. I know them patriots right now. I can already see what y'all saying. I know. Whoop.
Consequences of an economic collapse will be unbearable. Another blogger wrote, 2025 will be tough, but I didn't expect it to be this hard. This feeling of helplessness is spreading among many in the foreign trade industry.
This trade war has really hit us in foreign trade, and it hurts. You might
A lot of Americans. It's been tough for a lot of Americans. Don't worry.
think that if foreign trade people are suffering, those who don't work in foreign trade will be fine, right? Let me give you a simple example. This morning I was heading to Hong Kong for a trade show. Because the foreign trade situation is bad, I had to bring everything myself and take the high-speed train. You know, Shenzhen is very close to Hong Kong, so normally we would just take a cab. But doesn't that mean a cross-border taxi driver in Shenzhen has just lost a long trip from Nanshan to Hong Kong today? So this affects everyone. Our supplier list is so long. If the main client is struggling, do you think they will be doing fine? Now, going back to foreign trade, if a company mostly deals with the US market, they probably won't survive this year because social security costs are rising too. When a company can't hold on, do you think the owner has it the worst? Every business owner leaves themselves an escape route. Their way out is to live off savings, rely on interest and passive income to get by. But what about the laid off workers? How long can they last without a job or salary? It's really iconic that those laid off workers might be the same people cheering in their social circles right now. Such a strong feeling of powerlessness, really.
High tariffs have also dealt a heavy blow to China's cross-border e-commerce sector. Wang Xin, president of the Shenzhen Cross-Border E-Commerce Association, described it as an unprecedented shock. She said the tariffs will fundamentally reshape the cost structure, with longer custom clearance times and rising logistics costs, making it extremely difficult for Chinese sellers to remain competitive in the United States. She warned that the pressure on small and medium-sized enterprises could lead to a sharp increase in unemployment in China. David Feng, an Amazon seller based in Shenzhen, said he has raised prices by 30%, reduced his product categories and advertising budget, and shifted his resources to markets outside the US. With exports hindered, many cross-border e-commerce sellers are looking to the domestic market. A business owner who has been in cross-border e-commerce for 8 years posted a video at 3 a.m. sharing her thoughts.
Hey guys, it's just past 3 a.m. I just finished dealing with a batch of stranded cross-border goods and I suddenly felt like sharing something from the heart. You know, every time I see the word tariff, I feel a bit triggered now. I've been doing cross-border e-commerce for 8 years.
Hearing the word tariff, somebody's triggered. Tariff! Say it out loud. Tariff. Say it again. Tariff.
Things like logistics delays, exchange rate roller coasters, and replying to emails at 3 a.m., I've been through it all. But I never expected that this year's tariffs would crush us. The increase in tariffs have really squeezed the survival space for small and medium businesses like ours. Tonight I was thinking, has the golden age of cross-border e-commerce passed? Should I start focusing on the domestic market? Actually, I've been preparing for that. I registered a new trademark and plan to continue in the beauty tools market. But since the era of wearing masks is over, domestic consumption is really low. Now I'm unsure whether restarting these projects will even make money.
All the clothing in Guangzhou is sitting unsold. We can't ship anything out. Many factories have too much raw material stockpiled. It's all because Trump started the trade war and the tariffs have been raised to over 100%. So we've decided all the clothing businesses in Guangzhou will shift from export to domestic sales. No matter the price, we just have to sell everything. The US-China trade war has rapidly escalated since it resumed on April 2nd. On April 10th, the Trump administration announced an increase in tariffs on Chinese goods to 145%. The next day, China responded by raising tariffs on US goods to 125%. Xi Jinping stated that China is not afraid of an unjust suppression, while the Ministry of Foreign Affairs declared, if the US insists on escalating, China will fight to the end. The State Council Tariff Commission was even more blunt. Even if the US continues to raise tariffs, American exports to China will find no market, and China will not respond. This stance was also reflected in statements from Chinese government officials involved in public diplomacy. On April 10th, Victor Gao, vice president of the Center for China and Globalization, was interviewed by Channel 4 News' Kathy Newman. When asked about China losing the US market, he said it didn't matter.
Yeah, and China will lose the US market, which, as I've said, is 15%.
We don't care. We don't care. We don't care. China has been here for
5,000. Yes, we do not care. All right, sir. All right. All right, good kind sir. All right. Yeah. Around and find out.
1,000 years, most of the time, there was no United States, and we survived. And if the United States wants to bully China, we will deal with the situation without the United States. And we expect to survive for another 5,000 years.
The loss of 15% of its export market, i.e. what you export to the US.
Not at all. China is fully prepared to fight to the very end, because the world is big enough that the United States is not the totality of the market in the world. So if the United States wants to go in that direction of completely shutting itself out of the China market, be my guest.
As a senior executive at a think tank controlled by the Chinese Communist Party, his careless response to questions about the escalating US-China trade war and the potential loss of the US market is both shocking and disappointing. His indifference not only fails to offer constructive solutions, but may also legitimize a confrontation approach that ignores the consequences. This attitude is inconsistent with his role at a think tank and risks leading to serious misjudgments by the leadership. Still, it is clear that he is acting as a mouthpiece for the CCP's external propaganda. Victor Gao's historical comparison, China has survived for 5,000 years without the US, is not only illogical, but also absurd. China's modern economy is deeply embedded in globalization and relies heavily on international trade, supply chains, and market networks. In 2025, China is no longer a self-sufficient agrarian society, but the world's second largest economy, driven by export-led growth. Losing access to the US market would mean the disappearance of hundreds of billions in trade, a breakdown in supply chains, and millions of jobs at risk. Reducing such a complex economic issue to a sweeping historical claim is not only an evasion of reality, but also a disregard for the businesses and citizens now struggling. More troubling is his declaration that China is prepared to fight to the end while offering no concrete measures. This empty slogan raises the question, who is it really aimed at? Is it to reassure the domestic public or to provoke global backlash?
We finally had a president with balls to do it. Finally had a president. You know, you go back and look at these old footages of these hypocrites talking about this, oh, we want this, oh, tariffs, this, oh, China, this, oh, that. You know, sounded just like how President Trump is as we speak. Now that it's actually happened, he's the bad guy. Sounds like, and then it sounds like they didn't have the balls to do it. But guess what? We have a president. We have a actual leader. Somebody that actually has the balls to do it. And he's talked about this for decades and decades. Ooh, let me know what y'all think, man. I love y'all, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace and love, family.